Alright, so this is going to be topic 8, SBA Practice. So everything we learned in topic 8 had to do with equation, inequalities, so one-step, two-step equation, multiplying and dividing integers, adding and subtracting integers, and using more fractions and decimals within your equations. And the other thing you have to remember, like always, what to do. Copy any tables, charts, or pictures down into these notes, especially when you're taking the SBA test. That's the exact same routine you want to keep. You want to write down important information. Remember, when you write those numbers, make sure you write down what those numbers represent if it's in a story problem. And then write down the question. And then next, make sure your answer solves the question. So I want you to know that this topic 8 practice, it was one of our biggest topics, and it was over a lot of important stuff that you're going to find on your SBA test. So there are a lot of problems to practice on this. I don't want you to get scared, because a lot of the problems are just different ways of showing your knowledge, but work with a partner, go through it together, make sure you are understanding, and make sure you see us if you need any help. Don't struggle, because sometimes we can just say some things that'll help you remember how to do these. So this very first one, you're going to enter the value of c when the expression 21.2x plus c is equivalent to 5.3 and then multiplied by 4x minus 2.6. So the first thing that I'm going to do is I'm going to write these down, because remember the word equivalent means equal. I'm going to write these two problems down, these two expressions, and put them equal to each other. So I would like you to do the same. So I'm going to double check that I wrote down the right expressions, 21.2x plus c, and I'm going to use a different color for the letter c so I don't get confused that it's like a 2 or a 0, or you know how some people with their writing, it's not the best. And then 5.3 in parentheses 4x minus 2.6. So I did write it correctly. Now I'm going to do my next steps. I know whenever I see parentheses that I should probably multiply like this. So 5.3 times 4. You need to do that math. So I did the math and I got 212. Remember that I only have one spot past the decimal, so I can only do one spot past the decimal here too. So then I'm going to rewrite this as 21.2x minus, and let's not forget, now I have to do 5.3 times a negative 2.6. So let me do that math over here. 5.3, and remember, I'm multiplying, but this is going to be a negative 2.6. So you're just going to do your regular multiplication. So I did my multiplication, and then of course I had to add those two numbers, so I got 13.78. I have two spots past the decimal, so I'm going to put my dot right there. And then I can't forget that this was a negative. We have one negative, that's an odd number, so that means the answer is going to be negative. So now I'm going to go up here. We already have the negative here, which is great. I don't have to put it in there. Negative 13.78. And I'm going to put my equal sign, put my C here, put my plus, and then my 21.2x. So now I'm going to draw my balance line, and I'm going to, looking at this, I can get C by itself here easy. So I need to get rid of this right here, minus 21.2x, so I want to get C by itself. So what I do to one side, I need to do the other side. So that is going to be, you just subtract 21.2x over here. when I subtract it from over here, it cancels out, which leaves C, bring down my equal sign, and oh my gosh, it cancels out here too. So then now it's going to be a negative 13.78. So my answer is a negative 13.78. Okay, moving on to the next one. I see that it's asking me select the expression that is equivalent. Remember, the word equivalent means equal to this one over here on the right. That's ugly. Remember when we had to combine like terms, which means combine any numbers or letters together? We did an example in class with the basketball team. Like, how do you know who's on which basketball team? Remember that word's like the yellow jersey, they're all on the same basketball team. So that would be like anybody with an X or any X's. And then like people in a blue basketball jersey, you know they're on the same team because they're all wearing blue. And that could be like any variables that are the same, like the letter P. If you had a couple letter P's, you'd put them together. That was that example we had done. So write down this problem. So I wrote it down, and then if you have highlighters, you might want to bring them. But if you don't have a highlighter, you can use your pencil. And I'm going to circle any that have X's and any of the negatives or positives in front of it. So this is a negative 2x and 4x. So what is 4 minus 2? Well, that's going to be 2. So I'm going to rewrite it as 2x. I can't forget its friend, x, or, you know, the basketball jersey. So then I'm done with these, so I can cross them out. And then I'm going to see what I have left. I have a positive 3 and a positive 4. So I'm going to write a positive here because there aren't any negatives. And what's 3 plus 4? That's 7. So now I have simplified the expression. Now I need to see which option it is. Here they said negative 2x plus 2. Well, that doesn't work. And this is negative 8 plus 12. That doesn't work. Here's 6x plus 7. That doesn't work. But this one does. So my answer is D. Okay, for C, it's the same thing. So make sure it's asking all expressions. So when it uses the word all, we know it's going to be more than one. Of these are going to be selected. Equivalent means equal. And we are going to write this down on our paper. Holy smokes, this takes up a lot of paper. So I'm going to pay attention to my parentheses because we know, like in PEMDAS, we pay attention to the parentheses first, which is this right here. And we know that the parentheses means to multiply. So I'm going to first write down 2 times negative 4. So 2 times 4 is 8, but I have that negative there. And this is a positive 2. So it's not a negative 2 times a negative 4. It is a positive 2 times a negative 4. It's going to give me a negative 8. Can't forget the x. Plus, then I have to do 2 times 6.1. So now I got to do some math over here on the side. I'm going to do it down here. 6.1 times 2. I can multiply it, or I can do 6.1 plus 6.1. But I'm going to multiply, so that's 2, that's 12. I have one spot past the decimal, so I'm going to put that right there. I'm going to go back up here and put 12.2, and then I'm going to rewrite the rest. And then over here, oh, this is now negative 8, so then this plus goes away. Or you could put a plus if you want to, but obviously the negative is going to be, now I got to combine. Like jerseys, I always like to use, do my variables first. You don't have to. There's that one, and then there's, oh, here's another, a negative 8x, or negative 8x and a negative 3.25x. Oh my gosh. So when you're adding two negatives, so you're going to basically do negative 3.25, negative 8. So I'm just going to put zeros here for placeholders. So I'm going to add them. So same sign, add, different sign, subtract. So I'm going to add, and I put the little plus over here to remind myself that's what I'm doing. And when you're adding decimals, you just bring the decimal straight down. And that's going to, and we keep same sign, add. And we're going to keep that sign there. So now I can get rid of these. I'm going to put a negative 11.25x. Then I'm going to rewrite plus 2.2. And then I'm going to put the negative 3.75 here. Now, I don't have any more x's, but now I have a negative 3.75 and a positive, So just like we said, same sign add, different sign subtract. These are different signs, so I can subtract them now. That's a positive, that's a negative 3.75. And then I'm going to subtract, so I put that in parentheses. I'm going to put a 0 here for a placeholder and do the math. So I did my subtraction, brought down my decimal, but since the positive number is the larger sign, then that means that this is going to be a positive 8.45. So now I can go over here, and I've done these two. So then I can put 8.45 minus 11.25x. And that is my final answer. So now I can go over here and check that out. But they're trying to trick us, like always. The SBA can't be straightforward, which is what I don't like. Is anywhere in here do we ever get a 7x? In all of your work, in each step, do we ever have just a 7x? And we don't. So it's actually going to be like Puzzle Penguin back in elementary. These can be in any one of these steps. We never have just 7x. So that won't work. Here, it does have 8.45. Somewhere in here we do have an 8x. And we have a 3.25. So this one will work. Okay, this next one. Do we have a negative 1.75 anywhere in here? We don't. So automatically that won't work. Now in here, do we have a 11.25? We do right here. And we do have a 12.2 up here. And we also have a 3.75 right there. So these are your two options to work. If you need any help, please ask us and we will help you. Good luck.